Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to Unwind Flow Yoga. I'm Amanda and I'll be guiding you through our class today. For today's practice, it's all about phase 1 of the cycle, which is the period. And the goal for this incorporating yoga in this phase of the cycle and for this class is to really tap into supporting our circulation, get things moving just a little bit, however much we can handle right now, as well as starting to think about that downward flow of our energy as well to support what's happening in this phase of the cycle. So we'll start seated. Whenever you're ready, find a position that's comfortable for you. I'm sitting up on a blanket and you will need a blanket or a large towel for today's class as well. So grab that and then join me in a comfortable seat. Once you found that seated position, I'll invite you to take a moment to check in. Really being honest with yourself and how you feel in this moment right now. And a big part of that might be giving yourself a little bit of praise for making it to your mat today. Acknowledging if maybe you don't feel like 100% your best. As we stay here, bring our awareness to our attention. Seeing if we can connect to the breath, moving the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Seeing if you can keep that as we stay here just a little while longer. And I'll invite you to bring your attention to an acupuncture point called Spleen 10. And this point is really important for our blood and our circulation. And it's located on the thigh, so you have one on each thigh. And it's just on the inner line. So if you locate where your knee is and where your kneecap is, go straight up from that up the thigh and then go over towards your inner thigh. And you'll notice a little bit of tissue there most likely. And you can find it on each side there. And you don't have to be any more specific than that. I kind of like to bring a finger or two when I'm doing acupressure and just pressing gently like I am pressing on a fruit at the grocery store to see how firm it is. But you can just visualize this, bringing your attention to this area of the body. And while your attention is there, connect that to this idea of supporting our circulation. Acknowledging that anything that we're feeling right now is temporary. And that we can use our yoga practice to support ourselves in feeling good. And supporting ourselves in clearing the slate as we enter in this new cycle. Take another breath there. And then when you're ready, start to let that go. If you were pressing on Spleen 10 or acupuncture point, just releasing the hands. And then from here, we'll start to bring in a little bit of movement. So we're going to come into really small cat and cow motion in our seated pose. So on an inhale, just start to tip the pelvis forward, bring the chest forward a little bit, drop the shoulders back behind you, maybe look up. And then on an exhale, do the opposite. So round the spine, look towards the navel, tuck the tailbone under. Take a few more cycles just like this. Inhale and exhale. See if you can originate the movement here from the tailbone, from the pelvis. Really starting to bring that sense of circulation to this area of the body. Everything else is just a little bit extra. It's going to help us release a little bit of tension that we might be feeling in the neck and shoulders if we feel like we've been holding on to tension. Let's take one more. Exhale round. Inhale, come back towards neutral, and then keeping this neutral shape, Here, we're going to come into half malasana. So I'm going to take my right foot all the way to the floor. Left knee can stay bent, however is comfortable. And we're just getting a little bit of opening into the hips, so just some gentle opening. And tailor this to how you're feeling today. So that might mean keeping the arm on the outside, sometimes grabbing the ankle for a little bit of stability, maybe a little bit of rotation towards the opposite side, the left knee. If you feel a little bit more open, you can always bring the arm onto the inside. Feel the arm, the leg press in towards each other, getting a little bit more of opening in the chest, countering that with opening of the leg. You need to heel toe the foot a little bit further out to the side. Maybe like a little bit more, maybe even this arm extends wherever is comfortable. See if you can breathe into your right hip specifically. On an exhale, come back through center and we'll switch sides. So bring the right foot down, the left foot out to the side, keeping the soft bend here. Starting off, making it just a little bit of an opening here on this new side. Maybe you bring the arm onto the inside, open the chest a little bit out to the side. So you're feeling like this twisting action, but gentle, while you get a little bit of an opening in the hip. Maybe the arm extends up, maybe you look up. Take another breath in. Exhale, let it go. Come back through center, cross the legs once again in a seated pose, and just take a little bit of a feeling moment here. And then when you're ready, we'll meet in a forward fold. So come towards standing, bring your blanket off to the side if you were sitting up on it, but keeping it nearby. And then feet can be hip distance apart or wider. Soften the knees to let the belly rest on the thighs and drop the head down. Feeling some gentle compression of the belly as it meets the thighs. So really using that to your advantage, bending the knees as much as is comfortable. You can even take a little sway side to side. Notice the pressure changing in the feet, in the legs, in the abdomen. Inhale, come back through center, drop the head. And then we'll take it into half lift. Hands to shins, chest shines forward, look forward. Exhale, fold. Soft bend the knees here as you rise all the way back up. Arms lift, maybe look up. Get a nice stretch there after that compression, and then exhale, hands come together. From here, we're gonna come into some nice slow sun A's with a little bit of a variation here. Nice and slow, no rush, no pressure. Take a breath in. Exhale. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, find your way into that forward fold. Feel the compression, belly to thighs. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands. Walk one foot back and then the other to your plank. We're just going to stay in plank for a moment. Take a breath in. On an exhale, drop the knees and then bend the elbows, lower all the way down towards the floor. Feel the belly rested on the ground. Roll the shoulders onto the back body. Inhale up for cobra pose. On an exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes under, press up to the knees, and then lift the hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Pause here for a few breaths. Notice how it feels to be in this inverted shape, maybe like a little movement, bend the knees gently side to side. Starting where you're at today, no rush. Come back through center. Bend the knees deeply, look forward. And then from here, we're gonna come into malasana. So step one foot to the outside of the hand, and then the other. Bend the knees, drop the hips, elbows come onto the inside of the thighs. Touch the palms, open the chest. Notice the connection of the feet, and then use that to drop the hips a little lower. Take another breath in. Exhale, hands find the floor, straighten the legs. Toes face forward, forward fold. You can heel toe the feet so they're underneath the hips. As we inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, lift the arms all the way back up. Exhale, palms touch, hands release by the sides. Adding on a little bit here. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, touch the palms, soften the knees as you fold forward. Let it feel easy. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands find the floor. This time, just the left foot will step back behind you. Knee finds the floor. Coming into a low lunge with the hands down, so bent knee lunge. We're going to do a little bit of a cat and cow motion here in our lunge. So as you inhale, I want you to feel the hips really drop, open the chest, bring the shoulders back. And then exhale, a little bit of rounding here. Try this a couple more times. Inhale. Exhale, feel it like you're originating the movement in the hips here. Inhale. Exhale. Try this last one. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back towards neutral, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Notice the difference, right side, left side. And then option to stay in downward dog, or we'll go through with that gentle flow once again. Inhale, come forward, plank pose. Exhale, knees to floor, bend the elbows lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, top of the feet down. Inhale up, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same finish in malasana here. So take a breath in. Exhale. And then bend the knees, look forward. Take a big step outside of the hand, then the other foot. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Hands come towards heart center here, elbows on the inside of the knees, open chest. Connect to the feet. Reconnect to the hips. Maybe even thinking about that spleen 10 point. So you might be touching it with the arms now. Next breath out, forward fold, hands to floor. Heel toe the feet in as much as you like. Bend the knees. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale to rise, lift all the way back up. Big stretch here. Exhale, release the hands by the sides. We'll do that on the second side. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands to floor. This time, right foot will step back behind you, knee finds the floor. Take a moment to find your lunge here. So I always enjoy this low lunge here where I'm getting a stretch to the front of the hip. Allowing yourself to drop into that. Moving through those cat and cows. So starting off with an inhale, really let the hips drop, chest opens. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the pelvis. Take a couple more just like that. Inhale. And let it be small. Exhale. Continuing on your breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come towards neutral, plant the palms, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Pause there. Options yours if you'd like to flow. Inhale, come forward. I always feel like a flow is a way to clean the slate here, and that's part of our intention. So we start fresh, sort of forget everything that was happening before the flow, and we allow everything that's going to happen next to be new. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Take a big step forward. Once again, malasana. So wide feet, hips sink low, hands come towards heart center. Feel the feet on the ground. Feel the hips dropping low. Take another breath in. And then exhale, release. Hands to floor, straighten the legs as much as is comfortable. Heel toe the feet. Soft bend in the knees, drop the head down. Take an inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, lift yourself all the way back up. Exhale, release the hands by the sides. Take a moment here, pause. Notice if you feel even just a little bit different, even 1% different from when we started. Notice where you feel sensation, where you feel that little energetic circulation. All right, for our next pose here, we're going to come back into that low lunge, but using our blanket. And this is something that you'll see throughout the month. as we use compression to support that sense of circulation. So I have my blanket here, and I'm going to make a little bit of a roll in it, smaller than you think. So you can see it's pretty small there. And we're going to come into a low lunge here. So however you'd like to get there, I'm going to start with my right leg forward. So coming into our kneeling lunge shape. My left knee is on the floor, my right foot is on the floor, and then I'm going to take my roll and then tuck it into the hip crease. And this is why you want it to be small, because if it's too big, you won't be able to get it nice and tight in there. And see how high you can tuck it into the hip crease, and then let yourself go into that lunge. Take the hands back down to the floor, and really allow your hips to drop in. And then we're just going to stay here and breathe. Notice on your inhale, the belly making contact with the roll, with the blanket. And then exhale, allow yourself to soften. Take a breath in. Exhale. Stay here for 2 more cycles of your breath. And then to come out, we're going to transition right away into triangle pose on the opposite side. So when you're ready, start to make your way out of the pose. Just take a roll off to the side, lift the back knee up, switch the feet. The left toes are facing towards the back of the mat. Right toes face along the edge, arms open up, and then lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. So now we're in triangle pose on our left side when we're just in the lunge on the right. And while we stay here for a few breaths, really bring your attention to this right hip area. So press the right foot down, reach the right fingertips up. Notice a change. Take another breath in. Exhale, let it go. Come back through center, and then just come into a kneeling shape to pause. We're just going to take that feeling moment to notice the difference between the right side and the left side. And then we'll switch sides. So grabbing back onto that roll. And your rolled edge, it may have come unraveled here as you transitioned into your triangle pose. This time, left foot forward. Really get that roll high into the hip crease, and then we're coming into that low lunge shape. Hands can be down. So we really want to focus on that compression between the front thigh and the belly, using the roll as a little bit of an extra there. Take a breath in, feel that gentle compression. Exhale, soften. Notice what you can let go of your shape to still keep the integrity here. Let's take one more breath. And then on our way out, we're transitioning towards right side triangle. I'm going to switch my feet just so I'm facing you the entire time, but the right foot's going to be forward, left toes towards the long edge of the mat. Take the left arm up. Allow it to be loose but still have structure. We really want our focal point to be our left hip. After that compression, we're opening it up, allowing fresh blood to come into the tissues. Take another breath in. And then on an exhale, we're going to transition this towards a wide leg forward fold. So feet come parallel, both toes face along the edge of the mat. Soft legs here, drop the head down, allow the arms to be heavy. Noticing if both sides of the body feel equal right now, or if it still feels a little bit different. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. And then one last time, malasana. Start to heel toe the feet together so you have a little bit of a more narrow stance, and then bend the knees, drop the hips down, hands come on the inner thighs, chest open. See where you can reconnect here. On that next breath out, hands come towards the floor, straight legs, just forward fold. Walk the feet in so they're underneath the hips once again. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release. And we're just gonna come all the way to lie down onto the back. We're there, we've almost made it, but I'll just ask you to keep your blanket nearby. So just placing it off to the side. We'll use it in a moment. Find your way to lie down on the back here. Release the arms out to the sides. Feet can be hip distance apart or wider. You can go even as wide as your mat, and then we'll start to gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. We don't have to come into a full twist here. We're just getting that sense of circulation. Circulation through both hips, through the pelvis. And I like to even make this really small where it feels like I'm just rotating on either side of the sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine. Making the movement small and easy, no rush. And then bring the knees back through center. Hug both knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze there. Compressing the thighs in towards the abdomen once again. Allowing the belly to be soft, shoulders soft. And then from here, we're going to come into definitely a classic pose for this time of the month here. We're going to come into Supta Baddha, but I'm going to give you an option to give yourself a little bit more support with your blanket. So what we want to be creating is a nice long roll shape here. So I'm opening my blanket pretty much all the way and then rolling it up so I have a nice long cylinder shape. And then as I come towards my Supta Baddha, I am going to take my long roll in the middle along the top of my ankles, tops of my feet, and then wrap it underneath. So the feet sort of have something to push back against, and then knees open up, soles of the feet come towards each other. If you have a little extra, you can always support under the thighs, and then come to lie down here. If you set yourself up for Supta Baddha and it feels a little bit too open for you right now, a little bit too vulnerable, just come back to feet on the floor, knees bent. But if you're comfortable here, I'll invite you to stay. We'll take a little bit of time here to reconnect. Noticing how you're feeling right now in this moment. Noticing if you were able to shift anything about your experience. Maybe bring your attention back to that spleen 10 point. So as I mentioned, it's just above the knee here on the inner line of the thigh. So you can bring your attention to that point on both legs. Only if it's meaningful for you. So we remain here for just a little bit longer. We'll think about clearing the slate, getting ready for a new phase of the cycle. Seeing if there's anything from past phases or moments that we'd like to let go of, and just leaving them behind. Imagining this clean slate as you enter in the next few weeks of your life. Keeping these intentions with you or letting them go here as we transition towards Shavasana. And if you're super comfy in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can maintain this shape. If you'd like to let it go, use the support of the hands to bring the knees back in towards each other. You can just gently move the blanket out of the way and extend both legs long. It might feel good right now to add in any layers, so putting socks or a sweater on, keeping yourself nice and warm, or even using your blanket as a blanket, draping it over the body. We'll take the next few moments to pause here in Shavasana, and I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken. Slowly bring awareness back to your breath. Noticing the breath deepen. And if you have more time and you'd like to stay resting here, please do. Otherwise, we'll close off our practice. Bring whatever movement into the body that would feel good for you right now. Wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists and ankles. You can take an inhale breath to reach the arms, nice and gentle. Exhale, bend the knees, feet to the floor, and then roll over onto one side. From there, gently press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. You can always grab onto that prop once again. And we'll finish off our class here with just a final reminder about the importance of this phase in the cycle to really set yourself up for the entire month and for that next phase as well. So as much as sometimes we don't really feel like doing movement right now, integrating some gentle practices, really focusing on circulation can really make a difference in your cycle and how that impacts different aspects of your life. Just take a moment to seal that in. Returning to your awareness, returning to how you feel right now. See if you can just bookmark this ability to notice how good you feel. Sealing our practice in, take an inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, touch the palms, hands towards the heart. Extending gratitude to yourself for making it to your mat today. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in a few days for the next phase of the cycle. Namaste.